Okay, hi again. We're moving on to chapter 3, where we're going to be talking about globalization and how organizational behavior fits within our whole global context. We need to look at our learning objectives, where we're going to say what is globalization, this time we're going to take culture to a different level. We're going to talk about cross-cultural management. We're going to look at global skills that managers need. We're going to compare different characteristics and behavior and attitude across different globalization processes. And a gentleman by the name of Geert Hofstede, I can't usually always say his name, he's Dutch, we're going to be looking at his cultural dimensions that have been studied and used in a global study. Globalization is really about interdependency of transportation, distribution, communication, economic networks that are globally defined. Global corporations are actually now beginning to replace multinational corporations as international competitors. They often offer standardized products to markets globally that have pretty much similar tastes at reduced cost. It's really about mass customization. When we're looking at global strategies and managing diverse workplaces, we're looking at having to have managers develop whole new ways in which they think and act and use managerial skills. We're going to talk a little bit more about this as we go through the chapter, but I don't want you to ignore these particular graphs and charts in your books, because as you break them down in terms of domestic transitions, you will look at the different strategies and orientation, because most organizations do start from a domestic focus, where they really are focused at how their product or service can meet a market that's really pretty local. And then how that market can be taken into another, like, international market, where they might go from the U.S. to, like, Germany or something. And then they might go multinational, where we go from the U.S. to Germany to South Africa to Taiwan or something like that. So we have multinational. And then we get to phase 4, where we have globalization, where we really look at how we can have our product developed or made in different areas around the world, so that we can actually look at economies of scale. It's a whole different strategy. And in an international business class, you're going to talk a lot more about that. So when we look at cross-cultural management, we're going to look at the study of behavior of individuals and organizations around the world. So we have different things happening than just a domestic company where people are primarily the same culture. We're going to look at how that impacts across different countries and different cultures. As you can see here, there's different skills that go into managing across cultures. We still have to have in team building skills. We still have to be good in organization. We have to be especially good at communication, because we have language barriers and cultural barriers. And we have to know how to transfer knowledge. And these develop a whole global strategic skill base. In team building, we want to look at how what's happening to teams is we have complex global operations. We might be sourcing a product in Korea, another product in Sri Lanka, another product in Russia, and they might all be coming out of the same thing and having to have the same kind of look. So we have really complex global operations that require greater teamwork, and also we're working with different, really culturally diverse teams. We have to set up systems and processes that are much different when we're dealing with global subsidiaries and different ways in which we have to look at management processes in different countries. And one of the key areas is we have to look at cultural differences that happen when we have multicultural teams. Some people have different ways of thinking and problem solving. In your book, it talks about one particular theory, Theory X and Theory Y. As we proceed in the course, we're going to be looking at other different theories in terms of organizational skills. But Theory X really says that people are not really motivated to work, and you kind of almost have to sort of do something pretty drastic to motivate them. And Theory Y says people really want to work, and they want to have a job, and really basically hold out the carrot for them, and they're willing to work. Those are very different approaches to how you manage people. In terms of requirements for managers, I think one of the biggest things you're going to see in international and global cultures is being able to deal with ambiguity and being able to deal with cultural differences. When people start getting into international assignments, things are not always concrete. And also, you might find finance, marketing, operations, human resources done completely different in another country. And it makes sense there too. Remember in our first chapter, we talked about contingencies and that there's no one right way. And we still have to maintain openness when we're looking at cross-cultural management. Communication skills. Your communication skills they're magnified tenfold here when you're dealing with different cultures, and you have to continually pay attention to your communication skills. How we transfer knowledge. We have different, also we can't end up with a not invented here syndrome that we talk about. Some organizations say, well, if it wasn't made in America, then it's not very good. If it wasn't made in Germany, then it's not very good. So we have to make sure that we transfer knowledge and skills across all of our different borders so that people can get their job done and they can do it consistently. One of the things that global companies do is they benchmark, and they look at where are the best practices globally, and they compare them against firms or products that are similar to theirs, and they try to do continuous improvement in that capacity.